We know how hard it is to find games on the Mac. Many games aren't ported over properly, and most not at all. So to help you find exactly what you're looking for, we here at Attack Gaming have set up a top 10 list just for you. So here we go, in no particular order. This is our top 10 free-to-play MMOs that you can play on the Mac. First, let's talk about City of Steam. This is a game that throws players into a completely unique steampunk universe with magitech, alchemy, and danger. The game has a taste of difficulty to it, but luckily even for a browser game, it has solid mechanics. Its novel atmosphere and gameplay are both very fitting of its action RPG roots. Dive dungeons, climb the gear ladder, and whether you're doing PvE or PvP, hopefully you have fun exploring all the novelty. Next up, we have Lord of the Rings Online. Starting out as a sub-fee game, Lord of the Rings Online actually made many top 10 lists as a free-to-play title, and has been getting a steady stream of updates ever since. Not only is it another window into the famed universe, it is also a great experience in its own right, with solid mechanics and all the features that you could really ask for in an MMO RPG. Graphically, simplistic, but still a content-rich title nonetheless. Another fantastically famed franchise, here's Star Trek Online. Star Trek's huge, undoubtedly, so luckily we have a massive game to help us explore all of it. Star Trek Online has a blend of shooter and RPG elements, with some sequences being on the ground, questing, very usual, and then others have you piloting your own ship in the final frontier. While the game does wear a familiar face, in both aesthetics and in terms of actual gameplay, players should feel rewarded for their time playing the game with a new look into the world, or worlds, that is Star Trek. Speaking of space, here's Transformers Universe. TU was slated to be Jagex's next big MMO, but during production, they kind of radically shifted gears into a more competitive direction. Transformers Universe has really great mechanics that feel like a third-person MOBA that even translates very well inside the browser. There's still an open-world aspect to the game, though that's now a little bit of the minority of gameplay. There's still very much an RPG atmosphere with character upgrades and customization. The majority of the game, though, takes place in lobbies, where Autobots fight against Decepticons in a number of arenas and game modes. And these battles actually impact the overall global war, making each battle, each match, and the overall game feel connected just like an MMO. Now, after just mentioning Jagex, let's also give a shout out to their other massive success, RuneScape. This game right here probably evokes fond memories of your first MMO. And in fact, it is still a good, if not great game. Just, a lot has changed. RuneScape is cute, but still more on the hardcore side of MMOs. RuneScape is dated, but still constantly getting updates. RuneScape's physics are limited, but also know that RuneScape has some of the single best quest lines of any MMO, period. While the majority of the game is locked behind a membership wall, even just playing the free portion of this game, of RuneScape, is completely worth it even now. Another great addition to our top 10 list is Realm of the Mad God. Realm of the Mad God is a browser-based game, but it's not just a normal MMORPG. No, in fact, it is a pixel arcade bullet hell MMORPG. In fact, there's even permadeath, which will then allow you to unlock the other classes. Realm of the Mad God is a great, unique addition to the free-to-play market, and especially in consideration to the limited quantity of games that we have for the Mac. Next on our list, we have a colorful French MMORPG called WAKFU, which is actually a sequel to Dofus. It even has its own animation. WAKFU is an MMO strategy RPG and plays similarly to titles like Final Fantasy Tactics. This MMO has a ton of character and color, from its obviously cutesy art style to even the quest text, which is surprisingly not annoying or too wordy. WAKFU is not the easiest game to get into, but it does have some good writing and world-building concepts that anybody can enjoy. Now, let's U-turn these standard RPGs and let's talk about a new free-to-play game on Steam called Unturned. Unturned is essentially DayZ meets Minecraft. It is Minecraftian in art style, simplistic, bold, colorful, but it has the panic-inducing risk and reward gameplay that we love about DayZ. Survive with other players in a server as you fend off hordes of zombies via bigger guns, crafting more supplies, or even finding abandoned vehicles to escape or mow down enemies, undead or otherwise. Now, if you're interested in a more standard approach to the MMO genre, then let's take a look at the franchise that essentially started the entirety of role-playing games, Dungeons & Dragons. So Dungeons & Dragons Online is a mechanically fun game, with combat being non-standstill, and dungeons themselves have multiple routes depending on your group composition. Each class feels unique. The overall presentation of the game, definitely respectful to the story and is fantastic even if the graphics are slightly dated. If you're looking for a good multiplayer role-playing experience and you happen to own a Mac, this is absolutely the game for you. Lastly, we are very much excited to talk about Albion Online, which is currently in alpha and will soon release on PC, Mac, and even mobile as a free-to-play MMO. Albion Online's gameplay is very much anti-Care Bear. In death, lose your items. Movement itself is based on your carrying weight, and gathering resources is dependent on the items that you use to gather them. It is a cute art style, and it runs great, but don't be fooled. This is a hardcore PvP game where guilds erect and destroy entire player-built kingdoms. Abilities are customized via your armor and weapon slots, so crafting, economy, and surviving are the keywords here in Albion Online. Owning a Mac has its advantages, but the MMO library is not one of them. Hopefully this top list helped you a little bit, and if it did, make sure to like and subscribe, and we will keep the content coming. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see more top 10s or first impressions or any of our other stuff, come visit us over at MMOATK.com. I'm Shore, welcome back Attack, and today we're looking at WAKFU. Now WAKFU is a Flash-based MMORPG. They actually have another game called Dofus, and this is the sequel to that MMO. So this is a strategy game. You're going to be moving on tiles. It is a tile-based MMO, isometric view, and you're going to be moving on these tiles, and that also means for the combat, it's turn-based.